just here in a way to throw a bit of a gauntlet down at the end of the afternoon and do a bit of a challenge to everyone. But I'm going to start by just asking, how many of you have already signed up to a code or a charter about gender-conscious investing or investing in any form? So this is very interesting. I mean, there are definitely a few in the room, some already actually, running and setting them up, and some in your own countries. But one of the things that we have particularly found in our work is that in many, many countries and in many situations, we've seen a lack of real frameworks and structures for investment. And so we have really started to put together some thoughts on this, because when we looked into this, we know that people have been building great codes and charters, but in so many other parts of Europe, there are no charters, no codes, no frameworks to really give you guidance as to what are the actions and what works, and where can you find that support. So we really came to a conclusion that whilst, as you can see, there are some important codes, and we know there are some emerging, we needed to help, as part of our work at WomenInvestEU, to build some sort of framework that could be a legacy for people to take action. You've heard about action today. You've heard how it really has impact when people get together, take action, and move the needle. But what should we all do? And how do we do this more collectively together? So we decided that we would bring together a more challenging but more exciting opportunity for everyone to take this forward. And that for us really has been the opportunity to build a commitment to action. It may sound to you, that this is really something that perhaps you already have, but imagine if we were all looking at it from the same perspective. Imagine if we could all work together on the same themes. And this is really where we really would like to take you. So really, if we looked at all the codes and all the actions that people are taking, it really does come down to three main areas. And it's something that we looked at in the UK when we set up the Invest in Women Code. It's something that the sister code looked at in France. And of course, in turn, we have the WeFi code, we have Code V, and others too who joined this movement. But really, it does come down to kind of three big areas. And those three big areas really come down to three big areas of action. One is that you commit to increasing the level of investment to women founders across Europe. And that includes, of course, the number of deals, but we do know the money counts. So it is about amounts of investment going to women founders. That's what helps to open the doors. And of course, we've talked on this a lot today, which is we need to increase the number of women in leadership and decision-making roles and holding a significant portion of that capital to deploy. So this is really the big one for you to work on. And then, of course, we have another area which I think everyone really can do, which is take strategic leadership to build good practice. Build and share and promote good practice. This means taking some of the actions that you've heard about today, and as I said, we already have a little compendium that you can look at as well, at 13 case studies, but many of you today are taking action, and many of you have shared that actions that you're taking. This is really what we need to do, and having a shared focus on what works, what goes well, perhaps what doesn't work, the advice that we can all share. This is really very important to us all. But in every organisation, region or country, someone has to lead it. And could that be you? or could that be another organisation, or a clear leader, it could be private or public, that you think would be the key player? But we all need someone to help give that leadership. And then the third one, which we all know is that the issue that we all tackle all the time, is how do we measure change? And we all need to commit to measuring it. We have to have the evidence. We need the statistics and data, create the baselines, and create the targets for change. Now, I'm not telling you exactly what we have. We have some very important example already from the IF today that showed us that across those 3 criteria that they have put down, they have actually made a really 61% now increase against that 25%, 30, 40% criteria. I think this is something you can do. So set the baselines, set yourselves and measure change. And as I said, this is either your own organisation, or it could be your region, it could be your country, or it could be your community. But I think we all have to commit to give data, measure data, and then show the change over time. And we know this is not going to happen tomorrow. We know it's going to take many, many years to show the change. If I look at the Investment Women Code, it's 6 years since we set that up, and only now can we really start to really see that longitudinal impact that you have. But I would say this is something we think we all should do. And then finally, I think, having said about this, I think we really would like you to be partners. We want people like you to be partners, and we want the organisations and leaders that you might want to nominate to become partners, because we have to work on this together. I think I mentioned this last night. It's the collective will that we can all bring, the collective experience, the collective knowledge, and the collective ambition and dreams that we've all shared today, how we can reimagine the landscape and we can make it work. So I really want to call upon you all to consider what it would be, because we can share knowledge, we can share deals, we can also really create a really big impact if we work together. And we have some great examples, and we're going to talk about 1 or 2 of those in a moment. But it is about us really committing today, if we can, that we all want to take this forward. I think one thing we do know is that, to be one of these things, you actually also, if you want to be a partner, if you want to be an ally, you want to be a supporter, what is there to help you? And I really wanted to say to you, that if you look at what WomenInvestEU have been doing over these past 2 years, we've been building products, services and tools for you to use, and for those who may not have access to this kind of help and support. So, we mentioned already, and Jan has already taken us through this, and you saw the video this morning, but, we have a toolbox, and in that toolbox, for anyone who doesn't know about angel investing or venture capital investing, they can find out. There are role models, there are videos, and there's actually even a triage that helps you think whether or not you'd be better as an angel or a VC. And then, of course, we've been sharing the knowledge and building a whole program of capacity building. And this covers both the strategic areas that you might want to think about, how to develop significant strategies for gender conscious investing, but also how do women take leadership in venture capital to create those roles for leaders, decision makers, GPs, working as LPs, working as partners. And we have brought to you, which was launched again just a couple of weeks ago, that theme where you've got more than 21 amazing women in venture capital and taking leadership to tell you about their journeys, but give you advice and information. So do look at that. And then, as already mentioned by Sarah, in another short while now, we will also be launching one that's about building angel ecosystems, and you'll be able to access that in July. So there is information there, and there's much more information that many of you already have that you can share. And we have this available to you. You can access it, and we'd love to build in links and resources that continue to share what you're doing as well. And then, of course, there's already mentioned by Sarah, we have created a good practice, as I said, a guide, but there are probably many more case studies too, and we'd love to collect those stories. So as you can see, it's within you, and part of us as WomenInvestEU, that you have brought together your knowledge and all that you do, and now we really do owe it to everyone now to spread the word, build a much stronger community, all work together and commit to taking that action together. And this we'd love to do on a European scale. So, let's all see what we can do in our own countries, but let's also see who else we can influence in other countries and regions too. And this is not a substitute for the codes that already exist. It's a wraparound to make sure that everyone knows who's working on what, where you can find that information, and also, obviously, in your own country, sign up to codes and charters that already exist. So this is a bit of I throw the gauntlet down. Please do reflect on that. And in the meantime, I've got two wonderful players who have already been taking this journey to build successful codes and actions that are really, again, having that ripple effect that we've already mentioned. So I'd love to bring up now to speak with you. Sorry, before I do that, please do join the Alliance if you can. We'll be circulating all these codes at the end, don't worry. But if you haven't already done this, you'll go to our website and you can actually draw down a sign that you'd love to be part of this. This is not signatories, this is being a partner, being an